Hello, I'm Janine Turner, founder of Constituting America. Welcome to our annual academic study entitled History Holds the Key to the Future, or as Shakespeare said, what's past is prologue. This year's study is entitled The Genius of America, A Journey into Our Republic, a study on Alexis De Tocqueville's Democracy in America. De Tocqueville appreciates a uniform code of manners, yet hopes it is constantly infused with genuineness. Troy Kickler. This essay is based on the chapter Some Reflections on American Manners, Volume 2, Part 3, Chapter 14, based off the readings, pages 578 through 581, of Democracy in America by the University of Chicago Press. Some Reflections on American Manners by Dr. Troy Kickler. Alexis de Tocqueville was a French aristocrat and historian who endeavored to understand more concerning the United States of America's distinct culture. The Frenchman wrote Democracy in America, rather it was published, in 1835. Remaining true to his noble identity, he traveled to America and traveled its landscape and observed its subcultures. To him, the experience was intellectually inspiring, yet challenging. His beginning question, more or less, was the following: are people born refined or taught to be so? It was a conundrum for him. Some people are born so wealthy that they don't care for others with less economic means. Those not at the, quote, foremost, end quote, of society, yet have means of wealth, continually strive to move up the social ladder. Therefore, their public manners often include nothing more than envy of the higher level and contempt of the lower class. De Tocqueville is an observer of his near past and current time. To him, manners were cultivated within the aristocracy and became hereditary. A monarchy, to be sure, can be overthrown, but de Tocqueville wonders what will replace an aristocracy's manners. His concern reminds me of two sayings. G.K. Chesterton advises, quote, don't ever take a fence down until you know the reason it was put up, end quote. A Bantu proverb warns, quote, if a man throws away his good customs, he had better first make certain that he has something of value to replace them, end quote. Democracies have more individualistic manners. There is not an, quote, ideal model, end quote, to follow. Manners are based on the, quote, feelings and notions of each individual, end quote. If an aristocracy disappears, de Tocqueville writes that, quote, one still remembers that a precise code of politeness existed, end quote, but a, quote, common law of manners, end quote, no longer exists. According to de Tocqueville, outsiders consider American manners to be the same for all Americans. Not true, the Frenchman counters. If one has ever traveled across the nation, one observes differences within an overall subscription to American ideas. In other words, one can notice peculiarities. Think of America as Niccolo Paganini's, quote, variations on a theme, end quote. It is the same song, yet expressed in various passionate ways. De Tocqueville's statement reminds me of a book, There Are Many Souths. When people say the South, for instance, they think of a monolithic place, yet it is a diverse region with various dialects and colloquialisms and even barbecue preferences. De Tocqueville counters British criticisms of American manners by pointing out that the English of his time needed to look at themselves. In many cases, they are what they criticize. The American problems, de Tocqueville claimed, were projections of what existed in Britain. A benefit to a democracy with American manners, writes the French aristocrat, is that people can be themselves. Actions and social customs, or lack thereof, might not be as refined, yet manners tended to be more sincere. In de Tocqueville's words, quote, in democratic peoples, manners are neither so learned nor so regular, but they are often more sincere, end quote. When comparing an aristocracy with a democracy, de Tocqueville makes a poignant observation. Although good manners are appreciated, actions can be a facade and a cover for cruel intentions. He writes, quote, "Great external appearances can often hide very base hearts," end quote. In contrast, an unrefined person can have the best and most sincere intentions. In short, de Tocqueville appreciates a uniform code of manners, yet hopes it is constantly infused with genuineness. This essay was written by Troy Kickler. Troy Kickler is founding director of the North Carolina History Project and editor of NorthCarolinaHistory.org. He holds an MS in Social Studies Education from North Carolina, A&T State University, and a PhD in History from the University of Tennessee.